It is so hard to love a real one than be in a relationship with a fraud. There was a video that TD Jake's daughter made talking about that. And did she lie? She didn't lie, y'all. When you come across a normal man that is a normal individual, that is looking for marriage, that is a great communicator, and you are toxic, that's going to mess with your brain. That is going to make you run away from him because you think that he's crazy. And he's not. It's you that need to work on yourself. I know this from my own personal experience.
Gents and ladies, now I played that clip because in today's episode, we are going to be talking about relationship. We are going to be talking about the difference between a woman wanting a regular guy, a good guy, settle down, kids, raise family, and be happy, and or the woman that's toxic, that's looking for the perfect man that does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? The woman that believes her relationship should be like a romantic movie. Okay? And who are we going to use as an example today? Well, we are going to use Melissa Ford as an example. You understand what I'm saying? Because according to her own words, she was engaged a couple of times. And we're going to take a look at what happened between the good guy, the regular guy, and the toxic guy that she craved for. We are going to see her and hear her tell us about the two relationships. Okay? And for those who don't know who she is, Melissa Ford was the it. She was the it woman in the 90s. She was in a lot of videos. Like all the major artists, rappers, singers, R&B singers always use her in their music videos. She was in all kinds of magazines. Every male magazine, she was in the front cover. So she had options when she was in her 20s. Her options was unlimited. And we are going to see why and how she fumbled all that. And now at 48 years old, no man in sight, no children. Okay? A message to all you sisters out there that's looking for that perfect marriage, for that perfect relationship, that perfect man. My dear sisters, learn from her mistakes. There's no such thing. Okay? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to Reactions and Reviews. I'm your humble host, Eze. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the show.
I never made it down the aisle, but I have been engaged in the past. How many engagements? I would say 2.5. Let's start with the 0.5, since that was the first one. I was involved with a man who loved me. He was good looking, he was tall, he was charismatic, gregarious. Everybody loved him. My mom loved him, my sister loved him, my niece loved him, my friends loved him, everybody loved him. But there was something inside of me that just said, this is not perfect. It's the furthest thing from perfect. He would say things like, nobody's ever going to love you the way that I love you. And I believed him. I wrestled with this internal sense of guilt. I wrestled with the guilt of honestly wanting to be free, honestly wanting to live my life and to date and to experience other men and to experience other things and other places. I just wanted to live my life. I had moved to New York from Toronto, a totally different country, with $25, 2 suitcases, and a one-way ticket. I didn't have permission from my country to leave. I didn't have permission from this country to be here. And I was making things happen for myself at a very, very rapid pace. And so to find myself inside of a relationship that felt so stifling at this very young age and not having the vocabulary to speak up for myself and articulate that somebody who loves you would not say those things to you. They wouldn't say that nobody will ever love you the way that I love you, because that indicates that there's a part of me that's broken or there's a part of me that's unlovable. But I didn't know how to articulate this. So I stayed in this relationship that I was wildly unhappy in for approximately 3.5 years, close to 4. And I have to admit, I was not faithful in this relationship. Nothing that I'm proud of, but I just chalk that up to I was really, really young and I was hood famous. I was on the covers of magazines on your local newsstand. So everybody recognized me. And that was another source of pressure that I felt being inside of this relationship rather than being free to explore all of my options. And so one day I was going through some drawers, folding laundry, placing clothes, in the drawers and such. And I found it. I found a box. And when I saw it, I said, please, God, don't let this be what I think it is. And I opened the box. And there it was. It was a ring. And the only thing that I could think was that it was an engagement ring. It sure as hell was not a promise ring. We were way beyond that. We were not in high school. I was not wearing this boy's varsity jacket. This was an engagement ring. And if I knew this man the way that I knew him, that proposal was going to be very public. And that terrified me. I didn't want to have to say no in front of our friends and family and publicly humiliate him. He did not deserve that, but I also could not see myself saying yes in front of everybody just to save face and then later on have to break it to him like that this is not something that I was going to be able to go forward with. So what I did instead was I packed up all my belongings while he was out of town and put them in storage and flew back to Canada.
If you made it this far, hit that like button and leave a comment to trigger YouTube's algorithm. So hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to let you know every time I upload a new video. Brothers and sisters, you heard it. Two things I got from that. One, it seemed like the brother was more in love with her than she was with him. Two, did you see how she described him? He's good looking, he's tall, blah, this, that. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him. My family loved him. My mama loved him. Everybody loved him. But she did not love him, okay? And we saw how that ended, didn't we? We saw how that ended. Keep that in mind because I'm going to use that to land this plane, okay? Let's keep going.
At this point, let me go on to the second engagement. So I'm 28 years old and I have left the previous relationship, the 0.5, and I have met this man who, the minute I saw him, I knew I was going to be with him. He just was it. I don't know how to describe it. And the second I heard his voice, I said, I'm going to marry this man. I don't know what it was. Like he had this Louisiana drawl. It's my favorite Southern accent. He was huge, like 6'1", 246 pounds of hulking muscle. He had skin the color of like red clay. He had this thick neck, big round head. He had this crooked tooth that drove me wild. His flaws were like manna from heaven for me. And I loved his dirty draws and I could just sleep in his armpit right after he'd played a game of like pickup basketball. That is how much I loved this man. And our courtship was a whirlwind. He wined and dined me. He bought me lovely, lovely gifts. I'd wake up to those baby blue Tiffany boxes just laid on the pillow right next to me. We could go to my favorite store, and as long as I put on a little fashion show for him, everything I wanted I could get. But when I say that the gifts really mattered nothing to me, it was this man. He was the gift to me. That's just the fact. And we were 6 months into our relationship when the first sign of trouble appeared. I was in Denver for All-Star Weekend, and I was working for BET at the time. So I had a lot of responsibilities. I had to make a lot of appearances. I had to interview a lot of people, and a lot of those people were athletes. And he was back home. And I did not know that he was jealous. It didn't even cross my mind. And so when I got home after an event and I was perturbed by, an interaction with a strange man at a party that I had been at, he'd said something vile to me and it hurt my feelings. And all I wanted was to be comforted. And so I went back to my hotel room and I called my boyfriend and I just asked him to just tell me that he thought that I was beautiful and that he loved me. And he didn't do that. He just pressured me to tell him what happened. Why are you asking me to do this? And so I told him what happened, and he responded by saying, "Why would I want to date such a weak bitch that would be that offended by what some strange guy has to say to her?" There's just no way that he just said that to me. I'm sorry, what? And he said, "You heard me." And I said, "I'm really confused right now." And he was like, "I'm sure you are." I felt like I was talking to a stranger. There's no way that this was the person that I had just spent the last 6 months with, completely absorbed with, and in the throes of like love and ecstasy with. And I said, I'm glad that I'm finding out who you really actually are now rather than later. He said, "Yeah, I'm sure you are." Click. And hung up the phone on me. I cried myself to sleep that night. And the next day I had to cover a ladies' luncheon, the wives of the NBA. And so I had to be perfect and pretty, and I had to act like the man of my dreams had not just told me to basically go F myself. And so while I was getting ready, a large bouquet of flowers was delivered. My makeup artist said, "Mel, you should read the card." And it said, "You're beautiful to me and I love you. And I'm sorry." And then his name. I burst into tears. It just flew out of my face. So basically my whole beat face just melted. And I called him and I said, "I received your flowers." And he said, "I am so sorry." And I told him, "I'm gonna forgive you because I love you. But you can't ever speak to me like that ever again." He's like, "I promise I won't." We were together for another 1.5 years, and I accepted his marriage proposal. And a lot of you would probably be asking, why would you do that? Why would you accept the marriage proposal of this man that was so abusive towards you and unfaithful towards you and really bad at it? Like, I found out everything all the time, and I don't really have an excuse for it other than I was addicted to him. I was working at BET at the time when we were dating, and more than once observations were made about bruises on my body and how skinny I was getting, obviously from the stress. and people had voiced concern for me, but I just shooed them away. We tussle. It's fine. No problem. But there really was a reason for concern. I stayed through it all and accepted the marriage proposal. The final straw for me was his reaction to finding out that my mom was ill. I had gotten a phone call while I was out with him and his family, and he was acting up as per usual. And I got a phone call from my aunt telling me that my mom had been rushed to the hospital. I was in Texas. So in order for me to rush home to see my mom, I would have to leave Texas, go home to New York, pick up my passport, and then go to Canada. And when I told him what was going on, obviously I was looking for empathy and sympathy and compassion, and that was not what I got. It was on this day that I finally could see the forest for the trees. If I stayed in this relationship, in 10 years, I would have that white picket fence, and I would have the 2 kids, and I would be an abused woman, hiding her bruises and her broken bones and her scars from her family and her friends and society at large, because I was a forward-facing media personality / model. My mom's sickness was, strangely enough, a blessing in disguise. And that relationship came to an end. And that was the first full engagement. So 1.5. So that's where we are right now.
Gents and ladies, brothers and sisters, did you hear how she described the second man? Okay? Did y'all see that? And that is the point I'm trying to make with this video. She wanted him. She lusted for him. She craved him. She was obsessed with him. And that is why she endured. That's why she tolerated. That's why she accepted the way that man treated her. Because she wanted him, you see? But the first guy that was willing to love her, the first guy that told her, I will love you more than any other man would, she kicked him to the curb. But the man that treated her like shit, who she stayed with and went through all that, it took her mother getting ill for her to wake up that this guy is not for me. Now, why did I make this video? Well, I made this video for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, gentlemen, if right now you are dating, my brother, if the woman is not choosing you, leave her alone. If that woman is not lusted and craving and wanting you, leave her alone. If that woman is not attracted to you, if she does not put you first, if she does not make you her priority, leave her alone. Point number 2, my dear sisters, you guys need to wake up and understand there is no such thing as a perfect relationship or a perfect man. He does not exist. He does not. Okay? Get you a good man. Look for other things in him that will make you attracted to him. Whether it be the way he smells, whether it be his work ethics, whether it be the way he treats you, whether it be the way he talks to you, whether it be the way he dresses, whether it be whatever it is about him. Find something that you can latch onto besides him looking good. And if you are only going by the way a man looks, you will come across the top 10% men. And ladies, those top 10% of men have options. And they will treat you like he treated her. You understand what I'm saying? Why? Because they can replace you. Because right now, my dear sisters, we just entered 2025. And black men are running away from marriage. Black men are running away from modern women. Why? Because of the decisions you ladies make. Now, what do you guys think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Either way, leave your comments below so we can start this conversation. Until the next video, stay safe in the streets. Later. That will wrap it up for today's episode. And thank you for joining me. So please leave a comment below if you agree, if you disagree. It doesn't matter. Leave the comment below. And also, you tell me what you want me to cover. You tell me what you want me to discuss and what you want me to react to, okay? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's rebuild the Black nuclear family. It is needed, okay? God bless.